The afternoon sun burned hot against the crowded streets of Victoria Island. The air smelled of roasted corn, exhaust fumes, and life. Street vendors called out prices, Danfo buses honked, and the hum of the city pulsed like a living heartbeat. Amid the chaos, Amanda Okafor hurried along the uneven pavement, clutching her worn leather handbag to her chest. Her white blouse was slightly damp with sweat, and her heart raced as she glanced at her wristwatch. 3:47 p.m. She was late. Again. If she didn't make it to the Grand Marina Hotel before the next shift bell, she risked losing the one job keeping her family afloat. Amanda darted between cars, whispering a quick prayer under her breath. Please God, just this once, let me get there on time. Her sandals slapped the pavement as she turned a corner, and collided hard into someone coming out of a cafe. Hot coffee splashed across a crisp white shirt. A phone clattered onto the ground, the screen cracking instantly. Amanda gasped, eyes wide. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry, sir. The man she had bumped into slowly raised his gaze from his stained shirt to her anxious face. He was tall, well-built, and his eyes, cold blue, studied her quietly. His tone was calm but sharp. You broke my phone. Amanda froze. I didn't mean to. Please, I'll. She reached into her bag instinctively, though she knew she couldn't afford another man's phone in 10 lifetimes. He sighed and waved his hand. Forget it. It's fine. Then he pulled out his wallet and extended a few crisp dollar bills toward her. Here. For the trouble. Amanda stiffened. Her pride lit up like fire. I said I'm sorry. I don't need your money, she said quietly, straightening her blouse. The man blinked, not used to hearing no from anyone. It's not about the money, he replied. It's compensation. I didn't ask for compensation, Amanda said, her voice steady. I made a mistake. I apologized. That's enough. And with that, she turned and ran, vanishing into the crowd before he could say another word. The man stood there for a moment, stunned. Then, despite himself, he smiled. The grand chandeliers gleamed like liquid gold as guests in designer suits moved about, their laughter echoing across marble floors. Amanda adjusted her uniform nervously and tucked a stray braid behind her ear. She was assigned to serve drinks in the VIP lounge that night, a shift she had begged for to earn extra tips. But as she balanced a tray of glasses and entered the room, her steps faltered. Sitting at the corner table, in a tailored gray suit, was the same man from the cafe, the one whose coffee she'd spilled hours ago. He looked up. Their eyes met. Amanda's breath caught in her throat. He raised an eyebrow slightly, as if amused. She lowered her gaze quickly and turned away, pretending not to notice. Across the room, Michael Anderson leaned back in his chair. He had flown into Lagos that morning for a major business summit. Negotiations that could expand his corporation, Anderson Global Enterprises, into Africa for the first time. He'd had no plans to notice anyone. Not in years. But the girl from the street, the one who refused his money, lingered in his mind like an unfinished sentence. When he spotted her again in that hotel uniform, a part of him felt something he hadn't in a long time. Curiosity. He quietly called the floor supervisor. I want that lady as my personal attendant for the duration of my stay. The supervisor looked shocked. Sir? Miss Amanda? She's new. Then she'll learn quickly, Michael said, not lifting his gaze. That night, Amanda tried to keep her head down, serving guests with a polite smile. But she could feel his eyes on her occasionally, not in a predatory way, but with quiet fascination. When she returned to the staff area, her coworker, Ngozi, nudged her. Girl, what did you do? The Oyinbo billionaire just requested you personally. The manager's losing his mind. Amanda frowned. He did what? Don't pretend. He's probably interested in you. Amanda rolled her eyes. I'm not interested in rich men. They only cause trouble. But deep down, a strange flutter stirred in her chest, a mix of fear and something she couldn't name. The next morning, she was officially assigned to Michael's service team. When she entered his suite, the room was vast and elegant, all glass, steel, and city views. Michael was standing near the window, talking on the phone, his voice low and commanding. When he turned and saw her, he smiled faintly. Amanda, isn't it? From the hotel staff. She nodded nervously. Yes, sir. I hope you're not still angry about the coffee. Her lips curved slightly. Only at myself, sir. He chuckled. Don't be. It was refreshing. People don't usually talk to me like that. Amanda tilted her head. Like what? Honestly, he replied, pouring himself a drink. She wasn't sure what to say to that. Over the next few days, something unexplainable began to unfold. Michael found reasons to speak with her. Small talk at first, then deeper conversations about life in Nigeria, about business, about dreams. He asked questions no guest ever did. Amanda learned that he had built his empire from scratch, that his company started in a small garage in Chicago. But when she asked about his personal life, he grew quiet, eyes distant. I used to believe love could fix anything, he said one evening. Then life taught me it can also destroy. She didn't press further. But later, alone in her small staff quarters, she wondered what kind of pain hid behind that calm voice. One evening, as a thunderstorm rolled in, the hotel's power flickered and went out. The emergency lights failed, leaving the halls in dim candlelight. Amanda knocked on Michael's suite door with a flashlight in hand. Sir, are you all right? He opened the door, holding a candle himself. Seems Lagos has its own version of surprises, he said with a smile. Amanda laughed softly. We call it Billionaire Romance, sir. The lights go out, and everyone gets suddenly humble. Michael laughed for the first time in days, a genuine, unguarded laugh that filled the room with warmth. They sat near the window, watching the rain through the glass. For the first time, silence felt comforting, not awkward. Amanda told him about her dream: to open a small business that helps young girls learn practical skills. Not everyone gets a chance, she said softly. Some of us just need one person to believe. Michael looked at her, really looked, and something shifted inside him. You deserve that chance, he said. More than you know. The next morning, the sunlight returned, spilling across the lobby like gold. Amanda's smile lingered from the night before, until she saw the newspaper. Right there on the front page was a photograph. Her and Michael, sitting in the candlelight, talking by the window. The headline screamed, American Billionaire's Mystery Woman in Lagos Hotel. Her blood ran cold. The hotel manager stormed in moments later. Amanda, do you have any idea what you've done? This could ruin our reputation. Amanda tried to explain, but her voice trembled. We didn't do anything wrong. He shook his head. You're suspended until we sort this out. Amanda's world collapsed. Tears filled her eyes as she walked out of the hotel, humiliation burning her chest. Meanwhile, across town, Michael sat in his car staring at the same newspaper. His jaw tightened as he read the article. David Miller's voice echoed in his mind. You can't let emotions ruin your image, Michael. The world is watching. Michael took a deep breath, crushed the paper in his hand, and whispered to himself. Then let the world watch. He picked up his phone and made a call, one that would change Amanda's life forever. The snow outside glittered like crushed diamonds beneath the streetlights. Inside the sleek glass tower of Anderson Global Enterprises, Michael Anderson stood at the window, his reflection ghosted against the skyline. He hadn't been able to get Amanda Okafor out of his mind since leaving Lagos. Her honesty, her fire, the way she'd looked at him like a man, not a billionaire. After the scandal broke, she'd disappeared. He'd tried reaching the hotel, but learned she'd been suspended indefinitely. That night, something in him shifted. He made a decision that shocked his board and even his most trusted advisor, David Miller. He created a new initiative, the RISE program, a mentorship designed to empower young women entrepreneurs across Africa. But what no one knew was that it was inspired by one woman, Amanda. When Amanda received the official invitation letter weeks later, she thought it was a scam. The words looked too elegant, the offer too big. We are pleased to invite you to New York City to join Anderson Global's Women's Business Empowerment Program as a founding member. Her hands trembled as she reread the letter. Her mother, Mama Chica, placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. My daughter, sometimes God answers prayers in strange packaging. Go. Let the world see who you are. And so she went, with borrowed luggage, a worn passport, and a heart full of fear and hope. When Amanda stepped out of JFK Airport, the cold bit into her skin, sharp and shocking. She'd never seen snow before. Everything was huge, the roads, the buildings, the silence. At the arrivals area stood a man in a black coat holding a sign that read, Ms. Amanda Okafor. She hesitated. That's me. The man nodded. Mr. Anderson sent me. Please come with me. Her heart skipped. Mr. Anderson. The limousine ride to Manhattan felt like a dream. Neon lights streaked past her window. When the car stopped in front of a towering skyscraper, Amanda stepped out, her breath clouding in the icy air. The elevator opened to the top floor, and there he was. Michael Anderson, dressed in a dark suit, standing beside the window overlooking the city that never slept. He turned, and for a moment time stood still. Amanda, he said softly, smiling. Welcome to New York. Amanda's eyes widened. You brought me here? He nodded. You once told me all some people need is someone to believe in them. Consider this your beginning. For the first time in weeks, Amanda smiled. Thank you, sir. Just Michael, he corrected gently. Please. Amanda's new life began in a blur of meetings, cameras, and press attention. She worked with other young women from around the world, talented, confident, polished. She, however, felt out of place. Her accent drew stares. Her second-hand clothes felt out of sync in rooms filled with designer suits. Still, she worked harder than anyone, arriving first, leaving last. But the media wasn't kind. Headlines splashed across tabloids. African Beauty or Billionaire's charity case? Michael Anderson's secret protege or new girlfriend? Amanda tried to ignore it, but whispers followed her everywhere. Even some colleagues avoided her. One night, after a long meeting, she overheard two executives talking in the hallway. She's just here because Anderson feels guilty. Please. He probably bought her ticket from pity. Amanda slipped away silently, her eyes burning with tears. Michael noticed the change. She was quieter, more distant. When he asked, she brushed it off. I'm fine. But she wasn't. During a meeting one afternoon, David Miller confronted Michael privately. Michael, this is spiraling. The press won't stop. People think she's sleeping her way into your good graces. Michael's jaw clenched. That's nonsense. David's voice was calm but firm. Is it? You created this program days after meeting her. You invited her here personally. It looks bad. She deserves the opportunity, David. Maybe, David replied. But what happens when your board starts questioning your judgment? You can't save everyone you pity. Michael glared at him. This isn't pity. David sighed. Then what is it? Michael didn't answer. Because he didn't know. That night, Amanda stood on the rooftop garden of the Anderson Tower, staring at the city lights. Michael joined her quietly. You're avoiding me, he said. She turned away. I'm avoiding trouble, sir. There's a difference. He frowned. Did I do something wrong? She looked up at him, her eyes shimmering. You brought me here, gave me a chance. But every headline, every whisper, it's about me using you. About me being a charity case. You think I don't hear them? You think it doesn't hurt? Michael took a step closer. Amanda, I don't care what they say. But I do, she cried softly. Because it's not just your name at stake. It's mine. I have a family back home that believes I earned this. Not that I sold myself for it. Silence. The wind bit cold between them. Finally, Amanda whispered. I can't stay here like this. Not when people think I'm something I'm not. Michael's expression faltered. Don't go. Then tell me why you really brought me here. He opened his mouth, but no words came. His hesitation said everything. Tears welled in her eyes. That's what I thought. And before he could speak again, she turned and walked away. Amanda returned to Lagos quietly, without fanfare. She arrived at her small family home late at night, the warm air wrapping her like an embrace. Her mother met her at the door. My daughter, what happened? Amanda tried to smile. I came home to breathe again. The next morning, she pulled out her savings and began renting a small space, a dusty, old classroom with no electricity. There, she set up a few donated laptops and began teaching local girls basic computer skills. They called it the Spark Initiative. The children adored her. Their laughter filled the air, and for the first time in months, Amanda felt a sense of peace. One afternoon, a young journalist from a local station visited her training center. He filmed a short video of Amanda teaching under a mango tree, using chalkboards and hope. Days later, that video went viral. Social media exploded with comments. This woman came back from New York to lift her community. She didn't chase wealth, she created hope. Thousands shared her story. Donations began pouring in. And in an office thousands of miles away, Michael Anderson watched that same video on his phone. The sight of her smiling, laughing, alive, it broke him and healed him all at once. He realized what he'd lost wasn't just love. It was the best part of himself. That evening, Michael called David Miller into his office. "I'm going to Nigeria," he said simply. David raised an eyebrow. "For business?" Michael shook his head. "For forgiveness." David sighed. "Michael, are you sure?" Walking into another scandal. Michael interrupted. "If doing what's right looks like a scandal, then I'll take it." He grabbed his coat and left, determination burning in his eyes. The night was stormy when his private jet descended into Lagos. Raindrops lashed against the runway, thunder rolling like drums across the sky. Through the window, Michael stared down at the same city where he'd first met her, under the dust and sun. He whispered to himself, "This time I won't lose her." As his car drove through the rain-soaked streets toward the small neighborhood of Surulere, his heart pounded with both fear and hope. Somewhere beneath the same sky, Amanda was closing her classroom for the night, unaware that destiny was coming back for her. Not in a limousine or a business deal, but in the form of love humbled and reborn. Lagos was drenched that night. The streets shimmered beneath the rain like molten silver, the air thick with the scent of earth and thunder. Amanda Okafor hurried through the narrow alleys of Surulere, shielding her head with a tattered file folder. The last of her students had just left, their laughter still echoing in her mind. She was soaked but smiling, tired yet fulfilled. Inside her tiny classroom, nothing more than a patched roof shed. The hum of a single generator filled the silence. The chalkboard was covered with words like dream, build, rise. She sat down, exhaling. For the first time since returning home, she was finally free of the noise, the whispers, the rumors. Free to live quietly, even if her heart still carried the ache of what might have been. Then, headlights. A sleek black SUV rolled to a stop just outside her building. Amanda frowned, confused. Nobody rich ever came to this part of Lagos. The door opened, and out stepped Michael Anderson. For a heartbeat, neither of them spoke. The rain fell harder, the air charged with something electric. Amanda's breath caught. "Michael?" He looked drenched, exhausted, and utterly real. No cameras. No bodyguards. Just him. He smiled faintly. "Hi, Amanda." Her throat tightened. What are you doing here?" "I came to see you." "You flew across the world," she said slowly, disbelief coloring her tone. "In the middle of a thunderstorm?" He nodded once. "You said I never gave you the real reason I brought you to New York. I came to give you that answer." She swallowed hard, heart racing. "Michael." But he stepped closer, his voice soft but steady. "I brought you there because you reminded me what purpose feels like. You challenged me, made me see beyond profits and portfolios. I didn't fall for your story, Amanda. I fell for your strength." Amanda's eyes glistened. "You can't just say things like that after disappearing for months." "I didn't disappear," he said. "I was trying to fix things. But every solution I built without you fell apart." He paused, searching her eyes. "You said you couldn't stay because people talked. I get it now. I should have stood beside you louder, prouder." The rain softened as though listening. Amanda turned away, emotions swirling. "You don't understand. My life is here now. These kids, they depend on me." "I know," he said quietly. "And that's why I'm not here to take you away. I'm here to build with you." She blinked. "What?" He gestured around at her small classroom. "I saw the video, you teaching under a tree, turning hope into reality. You don't need rescuing. You need resources. So, I'm offering a partnership, Anderson Spark Foundation. You run it. I'll fund it." Amanda's hand flew to her mouth. "You do that. For you," he said softly. "I'd do anything." The wind blew harder, sending raindrops dancing between them. Amanda's voice trembled. "You're crazy, Michael Anderson." He laughed, a sound she'd missed. "Maybe. But you're the reason." She shook her head, fighting a smile. "You think money fixes everything." He stepped closer. "It doesn't. That's why I'm not offering money." She frowned slightly. "Then what are you offering?" He took her hands, cold, trembling, and looked straight into her eyes. "Myself." Amanda's breath caught. "I love you, Amanda Okafor," he said, the words raw and unpolished. "Not because you're strong or kind or brilliant, though you are. I love you because you made me human again. Tears slipped down her cheeks, mingling with the rain. Michael, she whispered, you don't know what love here costs. Then teach me, he said simply. For a long, suspended moment, the world was quiet, just the two of them standing beneath the dripping sky, two worlds colliding in the most beautiful chaos. And then, finally, she leaned into him, her forehead against his chest, and let the walls she'd built crumble. Weeks later, the dusty field behind Amanda's classroom was alive with movement. Construction crews worked alongside volunteers, laying bricks, painting walls, wiring classrooms. A shiny new banner read, "The Spark Foundation, empowering young women through education." Children clapped and sang in joy. Mothers wiped tears. And at the center of it all, Amanda stood beside Michael, beaming. David Miller had flown in for the ribbon cutting, shaking his head with a chuckle. You've changed, Michael. The old you would have sent a check and stayed in New York. Michael grinned. Guess the new me prefers muddy shoes. Amanda laughed softly. Don't worry, he's learning how to eat jollof rice too. David smirked. Now that's real commitment. That evening, after everyone had gone, Amanda found herself alone by the mango tree, the same spot where her journey had begun. The sky was painted gold and crimson. Michael approached quietly, holding a small velvet box. Before I met you, he began, I thought love was a distraction, something that took away focus. He smiled gently. Now I know it's the only thing that gives it meaning. Amanda's heart pounded as he knelt in the dust, right there, in the same soil where her dreams first took root. Amanda Okafor, he said, voice steady. Will you marry me? Not as Michael Anderson the billionaire, but as the man who found his purpose in you. Her eyes filled instantly. She laughed through her tears. You'd better not be joking, Michael. He grinned. I've never been more serious. She cupped his face in her hands. Then yes. 1,000 times yes. Cheers erupted behind them, the children, their mothers, even David, all peeking from the half-finished classroom. Amanda laughed and shook her head. You planned this? Michael chuckled. You taught me community is everything. Guess I wanted everyone to witness my biggest blessing. He slipped the ring onto her finger, and as the crowd clapped and sang, he whispered in her ear, No borders. No fears. Just us. A year later, New York City and Lagos shared the same sunrise through a live broadcast. The Spark Foundation had opened 10 centers across Africa. Amanda led them with grace and grit, while Michael balanced boardrooms with brickwork. In a joint interview, a reporter asked, Mr. Anderson, what inspired this incredible movement? Michael smiled and glanced at Amanda beside him. She did. Love did. Amanda took his hand, her eyes warm. The sky over Lagos and the sky over New York, they're not that different. Love just taught us how to look up together. As the camera zoomed out, the two held each other close. Two souls, two worlds, one story that proved love doesn't need to make sense. It only needs to be real. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe to Boundless Echoes for more interesting stories. We really appreciate your support. Comment where you are watching from, so we can give you a shout out. See you in our next video.